I want to change tack. A horrible, horrible, horrible story that came out a couple of days ago was a woman, tragically 34, killed after being stabbed in the neck in an unprovoked attack at a bus stop in Birmingham. Miss Fox, I mean, it's just the most shocking story. You talk about unprovoked attacks. The woman was just going about her business and from nowhere was stabbed in the neck and died later in hospital. And it opened up a whole debate, quite rightly, I should say, about the safety of women. You sit and you do what we do, and you think there are certain things that people get wound up about, listening to the BBC try and justify itself, and then you look at what's going on the streets, what's actually happening. I'm delighted to be joined now by Orla Minihane, who's the lead organiser for Pink Ladies, of course, the ladies who were brave enough to go on the streets and talk about what's right for women and what's important about female safety. I think you were probably labelled far right, weren't you, by Starmer, but there we go.
Yes, I was.
Honest to God.
Hi, morning, Jeremy. Thank you for having me.
Always. Orla, this is a terrible story.
Yeah.
We have to be careful. Legally, this guy is being charged and it's an ongoing process, but
yeah,
this isn't a one-off, is it, tragically?
No, so I just want to say my absolute, heartfelt condolences to her family, 34 years old, starting out her life, minding her own business. And Katie Fox, if you read about some of the things on social media, seemed to be the most lovely woman, just a normal girl going around her business. But, let's not forget, Jeremy, that, and not to undermine Katie's death, but in the last 2 weeks, 2 other girls have been murdered in similar situations. Stephanie Irons, 23, murdered. Lily Whitehouse, 19, murdered. And these are women who were murdered on the street in cold blood, stabbed to death. Now, we also have the Rihanna White, which is slightly last year. But, these women are in their 20s, starting their lives off, and absolutely unprovoked attacks and savage attacks as well. Now, if you look back at Sarah Everard, another awful story, that was in 2001. But look at the coverage that there was for Sarah Everard. It was everywhere. There were vigils. It was on every news station. Yet these girls don't seem to be getting the kind of coverage that they should. So it's almost like we've either become immune to this or it's just not seen or deemed that important anymore because maybe it's happening so often, and I honestly believe, Jeremy, but this is the tip of the iceberg. I think you'll find that there are so many more that we are not hearing about, and that is absolutely terrifying for women, all women, but especially women who have got, young daughters, grandmothers who have got daughters who go out shopping, they go out to nightclubs, they go out to bars. I won't let my daughter go to school anymore on her own, and she's nearly 18, because I'm terrified that something will happen to her. Because most of these attacks are unprovoked, out of the blue.
And you're so right, Orla, when you say, how can we as a society ever normalise this? It should be called out so readily. Katie Fox, as you said, 34, walking through the Bullring, a place I know really well from my time in Birmingham, minding her own business, needlessly stabbed to death, gone. You're absolutely right. Rihanna White, Sarah Everard. I remember doing the Sarah Everard story, and it was literally pillar to post, and quite rightly, because women's safety is so important, and that's why we'll do stories like this, because and I don't, it's not right, you guys, Pink Ladies, do so much good work, and I was shouting from the rooftops when those idiots dared to call you, far right. You're protecting your kids against a man who was sexually assaulting them, and that dangerous situation you found yourself in. But for me, it points to so much. It points, yes, women's safety, yes, the way some men treat women, but also the fact that knife crime in this country, I mean, I don't live in London, I work in London. I listen to Sadiq Khan pontificate every day about DEI and the rights of giving people, yes, he's done that, but no, there are knives prevalent everywhere. I've talked repeatedly about how I would increase stop and search. I'm not interested in the debate. The fact of the matter is, if you searched people for knives, you would find more. And if you said to people, the first time you're found, you're going to prison for 5 years, you ain't getting out on good behaviour. And the second time, you're going for 10. I swear to God. And somebody made a really good point the other day on a show I was doing. Do you remember the acid attacks became almost...
Yes.
And they said life imprisonment. And I don't know whether this is a fact fact, I'm sure we'll check it out, acid attacks have completely decreased. They need to be stronger on knife crime,
Absolutely.
not just for women, but for all sorts of people. But,
I mean, if you,
but you're right about your daughter. My daughter works in a restaurant. I ring, she's on the phone to me when she walks home every night at 11 o'clock. She does close, just to keep me on the phone.
We shouldn't have to live like this. My daughter the other night didn't come home on time. It turned out she was at school with a tutor. Her phone wasn't working. Straight away, you're terrified. We shouldn't be living like this. No. And, you know, when you were saying about the knife crimes, you know, 10 people, 11 people last week stabbed on a train. You know, Wayne, that poor guy, Wayne, walking his dog, stabbed to death. It is out of control. And you're so right. Unless the judicial system and we get a grip on law and order, people will keep doing it. You know, the guy that murdered Irina, that poor girl in New York, in the States, they're looking at the death penalty for that man. And rightly so. Here, you might get off in 6 months and be out in 1 year. You know, it's just, we're just not strict. We are not coming down on these people tough enough. And if there is no consequence management, they will keep doing it.
I mean, that is such a true comment. And what's even better about what you've said is that, you know, maybe I'm old-fashioned, right? You know, there are consequences to your actions, and if those consequences are severe enough to tell you that your actions are wrong, that's surely the difference between right and wrong. I don't understand how we... No, I mean, I remember doing a show about knife crime and being able to order a machete and a sabre online that arrived here within 24 hours. That should be looked at, but so should this. We can't do stop and search because it's racist. I don't care about the colour of your skin. I keep saying this about everything. I care about the fact that if it's normalised to carry a weapon in the street, right, a weapon in the street, then you have to do something. What was the Labour Party they brought in, I think, when they first came into power? You get a tenner for bringing your knife back.
Yeah, I mean,
that would just incentivise you to go and buy more. That's ridiculous. You know, a lot of people disagree with me. I would be stopping and searching, and I would be increasing the time that you spend in jail if you dare to have one on you. And sure as eggs is eggs, that would change the game. But listen, I do want to say on a personal point of view, I think you did and do an amazing job, and do not let the detractors tell the Pink Ladies anything. I think it's...
Jeremy, could I just say one thing? On the 22nd of November, in Chelmsford, in Tyndall Square, we have a massive demonstration full of women. We've got women coming from Inverness, from Liverpool, from Manchester, at 12 o'clock, 22nd of November in Chelmsford. There are 1,200 migrant men being housed in a barracks just outside the town, and the women in that town are absolutely terrified.
What date is that?
The 22nd, Saturday, the 22nd of November.
I'll do my best to get I'll do my best to get somebody down there on that day to give you some support from Talk. Is that all right, sweet?
And we're going to pay tribute to Katie, to Stephanie, to Lily, to Rihanna, and all those beautiful women that have lost their life for absolutely no reason.
Quite right. Well said, Orla. Great job the Pink Ladies do. We'll get sorted on the 22nd of November. Thank you very much indeed. 11 minutes to 8. We're live across the United Kingdom.